Welcome to part 4 of my 10-part series on divorce. While I understand that the divorce process can be a sensitive and sometimes emotional journey, having the right knowledge is very essential in managing the process. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the steps that are involved in filing for a divorce. So if you are interested in understanding or you're going through the divorce process and you want to just understand the process that is involved, you want to watch this video right to the end. So let's just get right to the topic. Now, the first step that is involved in filing for a divorce is the eligibility test. So in my previous video, I did the grounds for divorce. And in that video, I talked about the 2-year rule. So you want to check if you are eligible to file for a divorce. Is your marriage up to 2 years? If it's not up to 2 years, then it falls under the list of special circumstances. So you want to watch that video so that you can know more about the 2-year rule. So after you have confirmed that your marriage meets the eligibility test, the next step, which is step 2, is for you to gather documents. So if you did court marriage or you did marriage under the act, which is also called marriage under the act, and some people call it church marriage, right? If you that's the kind of marriage that you did, you want to go and look for the original certificate of marriage. Yes, the original certificate of marriage. In my first video, I showed you like a copy of what it looks like, but I'm still going to put it up here so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, so you want to go and look for that original copy, and then you need to begin to gather evidence. Now, in that video where I talked about grounds for divorce, one of the grounds that I stated was for divorce is adultery. So if you're alleging that your partner cheated on you and that's the reason why you want a divorce, you need evidence to prove that that partner actually cheated on you. So you want to start, arranging and gathering your evidence. Now, the third step is for you to consult a lawyer. You need to go and consult and hire the services of a lawyer. The lawyer will take you through the legal steps of, the divorce, the implication, and everything in regards to custody and maintenance and everything that is involved. And then you will now discuss fees that you will pay the lawyer. You have an agreement with the lawyer as to how much you will pay. You'll retain the lawyer's services. Now, in that meeting, it's very important for you to be honest, be very sincere to your lawyer. Just tell the lawyer exactly what is going on, how it is going on, even if it is good, even if it is bad. Just be very honest, like you will talk to your doctor or your pastor. You know how you tell your doctor, you can't lie to your doctor, how no matter how crazy it sounds, you're going to tell your doctor. That is how it is going to be in that meeting. I would say tell your lawyer everything. The lawyer will definitely know what to do. The fourth step that is involved in filing for a divorce is to file the petition. Now, before you file the petition, you want to work hand in hand with your lawyer so that the lawyer will be able to prepare the petition. What we usually do is we will give you a form to fill, and then you state, why you want to divorce, your name, and maybe important information that we need. Okay, you're going to put it in that form. But after we've prepared the petition or for filing, right, what I usually do is I would send it to the client, and then the client will review it, check if I missed something. I'm a human being, or I made a mistake somewhere or something like that. The client will check. Sometimes usually what the client will do is, okay, I said this, you didn't add this, or I wanted this, you did not add this, how I want it, or da 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 da. We'll work together and make sure everything is in order. After we have done that, it will now prepare the document for filing. Now, for you to even file a petition, you as a petitioner, that is you that who wants to divorce, you have to be present in court for the filing. It will be filed in court, but you need to be present in court. Okay. So now, usually, if it's in the high court, right? You will need to be in the high court. If it's customary court, that's if you did traditional marriage, you know that it's in customary court. You'll also be required to be present in court as well. Now, when we're filing, there is something called a document that is among the documents that we're going to file, something called a witness statement on oath. That's like just your testimony or everything that you are saying you want the court to do for you or that happened in a marriage and why you want to divorce. But with your name, it's almost like you are relaying it to the court. So with your name on it, you have to sign before a notary public. So it is important that you are present for the filing. You first sign your signature in front of the notary public. Now, after you have filed it and you paid the filing fees and everything, it usually takes like 3 weeks. It is the chief judge who assigns cases to a court. So what the chief judge will do is he will assign your own case to a particular court, and that takes like about 3 weeks or so. Yeah, 3 weeks or less. Okay. So once you filed it, and then it will take like 3 weeks, then they will assign it to a court. Once they assign it to a court, which leads to the next step. Now, the next step, which is the fifth step, serve the process. It is not you that will serve the process. It is the bailiff of the court that will serve it to your spouse. And the law is that they have to serve it by hand. They can't serve it through his sister or his brother or any member of his family. Even if you know that that person he already has a lawyer on ground, or he has a lawyer, you cannot serve it through the lawyer. You have to serve it to the person personally. Okay, that's the procedure. So the bailiff will do that. If, let's say, for instance, you are filing in Abuja and your spouse is in Lagos, or your spouse is in another state, you have to mobilize the bailiff so that the bailiff will go to the other state and serve, your spouse there. So the proper service is very important. Now, the next step after that will be to attend court hearings. So after you have served, and then your spouse will respond, okay, they will also have their own objections or their own explanation as to what happened in the marriage through their lawyer. Okay, so once they've served, or once they have, filed their own process in court, and then the case will be marked for hearing. Okay, so when it is marked for hearing, you have to be present in court. Your spouse will also be present in court. You have to be present in court to give your own evidence, to give your own testimony, and then you need to prepare for cross-examination, because once you are saying something or alleging that your partner did something, your partner will also have a contrary, objection to it. Now, there's something we call, before that, like before the testimony, there's something we call compulsory conference or compulsory settlement, where the court will give, or the law is that they want to give parties the opportunity to still have a sit down and talk about if they really still want to go ahead with the divorce, if they can settle, and say, okay, you know what, we're just angry, we really don't want to divorce, we think we can settle our differences. Then you will now go and say, okay, these people have decided that they no longer want to divorce again, they want to settle. That is not a problem. You can do that. However, if you now decide that both of you have a good understanding, right, and you both don't want to be married again, you want to divorce, and you've already agreed to how much you pay their children, or let's say you have agreed that the children will be with the mother and all of that, you have like a good understanding, you can now say, okay, since we have agreed to settle, what will happen is, lawyers will now sit down and draft like the terms of settlement. Like, say, okay, these people have agreed to divorce, this is how they want to do it. They don't want to go through the process of going to court to give testimony, all of that. Fine, the lawyers will draft down something and give it to court. And let me just say this quickly, right? um Anytime at all during this process of divorce, you have the opportunity to, before judgment is delivered, yes, even on the day before the judgment is delivered, you can come to court and say, you know what, I don't think we have decided to settle, or we are no longer fighting, and we want to continue the marriage. You can go to the court anytime. There's always that room or that opportunity, for you to go to the court and tell the court, you know what, I don't think we want to divorce again. We have agreed, to continue the marriage, and the matter will end. And I always tell this to my clients, that just because you started the divorce process doesn't mean that it cannot end at any time, and it doesn't mean that you cannot settle. Anything can happen. I've seen it happen multiple times. Okay, I've seen it happen a lot of times. So it's not strange. So even if you have gone to the point where you have given evidence, your spouse has given evidence, and you still feel that, okay, you people can still continue with the marriage, at any point in time you can tell the court that you want it to stop and you want it to end. Okay, so after that, after you have given evidence, or you have decided to settle, the next step is the court will review all the evidence, and the court will give a judgment inside. That's like an interim order which will last for like 3 months. After that 3 months has elapsed and there's no objection, it will now become a decree absolute. That means that the marriage has been fully dissolved. After that, what you will need to do, okay, through your lawyer, the last step, which is the last step, is you would apply for the judgment of the court, the decree absolute, and then you will also apply for a certificate of divorce. After all that is done, you can now say, okay, you can go ahead and marry whoever you want to marry. You are legally divorced. And I will still say it again. Another thing I always say is, even if after you are fully divorced and everything is over, you can still go back and marry that person. Only the only difference is you'll be marrying afresh. You can still go back and still marry that same person or marry whoever else you want to marry. But please, until that, just be patient until everything is done. Do not marry. I see some people always trying asking the question, can I go ahead and get married or get I don't understand. Just wait, just be patient for the marriage to be over. Okay. So I did like a checklist. I put a description that you can download and just go through it. Okay. If this video was helpful, please don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comment section if you have any questions on this particular topic. Please don't forget to follow this divorce series. Until I see you guys in my next video, thank you guys for watching.